Hello Internet. The best 7900 XTX that the money can buy has arrived at my bench. That was previously worked on by some unknown technician. Maybe this guy.
Get lost, you bloody wanker.
So today we're going to learn what it's like to have your GPU sent to the wrong guy. And what it's like for me to fix it. Spoiler alert, it is not fun for two reasons. Number one, you waste your money paying to make things worse. And number two, I have to work harder to get it fixed, which oftentimes is not even possible, depending on what they did to this card. Either way, as you can see here, previous technician had left his balls on the board. Melted the connector and left this solder blob so they would eventually fall off and short something.
Bummer.
Missing component, pubic hair, more poorly soldered components, and more melted connectors. On this end of the board, a total disaster. I don't even know what I'm looking at. A repair attempt or a practice board? More of that here. And even a 12-volt fuse was replaced for some reasons. So, before I waste 3 days of my worthless life trying to fix this board with a possibly dead core, I've done that before. Let's quickly run over the board with a multimeter and see what we get. Short on 12, short on 3.3. To be honest, it is incredibly hard to make any assumptions with all the mess that's on the board. So first things I want to do is to clean the board and start injecting voltages. This 3.3 volt short is originating at this transistor near the LED connector, which is a U-gate, and its VCC pin is short. I'll go ahead and remove this U-gate and see if resistance is normalized. And now we have 100 ohms, which is still a little low, but I can't be 100% sure. So I will continue with replacing the blown fuse, which happened to be soldered with a low melt solder. It will melt when your board warms up, and the components will simply fall off the board, causing all sorts of problems. Continuing on with the 1.3 volt buck converter, everything here is soldered with low melt, and all of that needs to be removed, or mixed at the very least. So I'll go ahead and do that. To make things even more interesting, as if it wasn't interesting enough already, the technician who previously worked on this card decided to torture the back of the board as well. Some components are missing and the traces are damaged, so I can't even see how things were connected to begin with. There's more low melt solder up in this corner here, and we're still reading short on 12. My guess is it's originating here. I think it's a 0.75 volt buck converter. So let's replace that buck converter and see if that helps. Instead of 32 ohms as before, we're now getting several kilo ohms. Yet we're still reading 33 ohms on that 0.75 volt rail, which I think, according to this cheat sheet I made a while back, could be normal. What doesn't seem normal is 100 ohms on 3.3. And after injecting more voltage, I found this little tiny transistor not far from the U-gate that was removed earlier. So let's remove that one and see if things change. I will also deal with the mess around this general area and remove the balls of the previous technician that he left behind. He's not getting them back. Also, the capacitor was shorted, so I'm not even sure what was the purpose of all that solder here. .3 volt is now reading almost 700 ohms. Not quite kilo ohms range, but we're getting there. Cool the car down, and let's power it up and see what it does. I don't see any immediate signs of overheating, and things appear to be working. Except I don't have 1.8 and 1.3. VDDCR, SoC, and memory are all working. Not sure how that's even possible, without the 1.8 coming up first. Unless this chart is a lie. Or not specific enough, I don't know and I don't care. So let's go ahead and poke around the 1.8 volt buck converter and see what we have. I do get 12 volt here. 1 volt on the enable pin. That looks a little bit low, especially by comparing it to the other chip that works. That one reads 1.2 volt. Maybe it's normal, I don't know. I do have 5 volt on the VCC and the bootstrap pin reads 0. So the chip is dead, so let's replace it and see if that helps. I also replaced this coil because the original was looking great, but now we have 1.8 volt. Yay! Still no 1.3, so let's poke around this guy and see what we're missing. 5 volt on the voltage in pin. Bootstrap is obviously less than 5 volt, indicating a non-functioning chip. Enable is missing, possibly because some nearby components are missing. I guess I can take enable from 3.3 volt nearby using a 0 ohm resistor, as well as put any other components that I suspect are missing and see if that works. Nothing. It's 1:30 in the morning and I still don't have 1.3 volt. The enable is now there, and that's it. So I'm just gonna go and replace the buck converter and see if that helps. I am suspecting the soft start capacitor was somehow mixed with the resistor, explaining why the chip would not power on. Either way, I replaced the buck converter and soldered the soft start capacitor, and now we have 1.3 volt. Yay! Power in the card, and it does not post. Let's see if we can detect the card at all. Looks like it's detected. Now let's run the memory test, and the test passed. Incredible! I was later able to hopefully properly identify the components on the back and solder them as good as it was possible given the amount of damage, but the result was the same. It was 2:30 in the morning and I could not do this anymore. I simply have no way of knowing what these people did to this card, what voltages were injecting and where. So all that work was a waste of time. But at the very least it was something for you to watch. Goodbye.